One life, one self, and one chance. Death is not an ending, but a transition that reveals more about who you are than an entire lifetime ever could. What truly dies, and what remains untouched, challenges everything you believed you knew about reincarnation. Hello, my name is Frank Halfa, and in the Akasha-Interviews I work as an information medium, documenting and publishing questions and answers about consciousness, humanity, and our place in the universe. With that said, let's turn to the question. Entry A. 202. Death. Part 1. When a person dies, the body decays, but the consciousness of the person remains preserved. Let us take this scribe as an example. He has never before entered the earth in a solid form. Like most people on earth, the scribe will remain on earth as a person only once. What do we mean by this? Every person, as a spiritual being, is an incarnation. An incarnation can incarnate exactly once on earth as a human being. Everything you know about reincarnation is not wrong, but you do not understand the background correctly. The scribe also once believed that he had lived several lives on earth, but like all other people, he was mistaken in this regard. He meditated for a long time and experienced many meditative states in which he perceived brief excerpts of other lives. These lives are indirectly connected to the scribe because he saw the lives of further incarnations that were brought forth by his soul. Another misunderstanding is that you are not the soul that is always spoken of. The soul has brought you forth, and by this we mean the following. A soul creates an incarnation out of itself, similar to how the Creator brought forth the soul. You then exist as a spiritual being, but as an incarnation, you are an independent creation just like the soul. The soul has a connection to the incarnation that is the scribe, but it also has a connection to all other incarnations that this soul has also brought forth. The relationship between soul and incarnation. When the scribe saw the brief excerpts of lives, they were not his lives, but the lives of the other incarnations that have already lived on earth or elsewhere. A soul cannot incarnate as a person. That would not be possible for many reasons. But the incarnations of a soul can incarnate on earth or on other planets. Many incarnations have already lived a life on earth, but not all of them. It should be possible for every incarnation to incarnate on earth. The earth has many people, but there are countless incarnations. Therefore, it is always permitted only once that an incarnation incarnates on earth, so that every incarnation can theoretically have the opportunity to do so. 1. Life on earth and the illusion of reincarnation. When the scribe was born, several incarnations of his soul had already experienced life as a human before him. He perceived these lives. He also saw himself several times as a snail, but these impressions were not his own and were inserted by us as his masters and teachers in order to make him curious about the subject. Furthermore, he perceived himself as a professional ballet dancer, which surprised him greatly, but it was the life of another incarnation. As a rule, you live exactly once on earth, and precisely now, as you are reading these lines. After this life, you will never again have a second opportunity. Exceptions confirm the rule, but generally you will never incarnate again as a person. Death, growth, and the continuity of consciousness. By this we mean the following. Your soul wants to experience growth. It is already very powerful because it has planned its incarnation cycle and is currently in the process of carrying it out. Every time a soul plans and carries out its incarnation cycle, it grows immensely as a result. When a being grows, it can accomplish more afterward than before. What happens in order to allow the soul to grow? The soul summons some of its incarnations to a meeting. You can imagine such a meeting as you would on earth. Most, if not all, spiritual beings have assumed a form in the spiritual world, and they almost always look like humans. The soul is the center of this meeting and asks the selected incarnations for a favor. It asks the incarnations whether they would be willing to incarnate on a planet. When an incarnation incarnates as a being on a planet, it will no longer be the incarnation it was before, after death. When the scribe dies, he will mature into an incarnation as the scribe he was at the time of his death. This means that after death, the scribe is still the person he was when he died. The memories of the former incarnation will return, but he is still the scribe. Nothing about his personality will change. He will remain the stubborn scribe that he already was during his lifetime. We also say that he will remember many moments that the previous incarnation experienced, and this will change him in the sense that he understands more than before because he gains a greater overview. This can be compared to the spontaneous insights you humans experience. For a certain period, you will repeatedly experience moments of sudden awareness expansion, and through them you will grow, which means that you will then be able to accomplish more than the previous incarnation of you. When you grow, your soul automatically grows as well. All the moments you experienced on earth have allowed you to grow, and at the same time have allowed your soul to grow, because you are connected. When you die, all inner universes that you generated during your lifetime are mirrored into the soul, which leads to a great growth of the soul. The soul then automatically receives more power from the universe for its growth. This is the only purpose of incarnating. The incarnation grows and therefore receives more power. If the incarnation has experienced growth, the associated soul automatically experiences this growth as well and receives more power. You humans, let it be said to you, only very few souls in the spiritual world plan an incarnation cycle, because planning and carrying out an incarnation cycle is very labor-intensive and difficult. Not every incarnation actually wants to incarnate on a planet, and we tell you the following. Hardly any of the countless incarnations would voluntarily incarnate as a being if it were not asked to do so by its soul. We say something else as well. Applause for you humans. You are so brave, even if you do not understand it now. But the planet Earth is a planet that is feared by all incarnations. Nowhere in the universe is a life as a person as difficult and dangerous as it is on your Earth. You had the choice as an incarnation, because you could have chosen another planet, but you are also ambitious, because on no other planet can you experience as much as on Earth. Because you have experienced so much, you will generate outstanding inner universes that will allow you to grow already during your lifetime. Why all of this is so, and what the soul does during your life, we will tell in the next part. This entry, along with many others, is available on my website. The content is published in German, but modern browsers make translation straightforward. You'll find a direct link to this blog entry and further helpful information in the video description.